Hi, I'm George Mullen, and this is our LinkedIn training for September the 16th, 2023. Getting right into a strategy for LinkedIn. So what basically I did was I said, okay, I want to position myself as a thought leader in um, networking, technology, with a little focus on AI, and an expert in LinkedIn training. Start there, refine it, focus on it, refocus on it. You have to have a starting point. And that was my starting point. I said, okay, let's try that. And it's working. Okay. So last week, now I can talk about it because I own a thing called the CPC, or help create one with a bunch of other investors. And I'm a shareholder, not a director and officer of this vehicle, which is a public company. It acquired a Calgary-based company this past week called Herd Whistle. Okay. And Herd Whistle is a piece of technology developed in Calgary about monitoring cattle and beef and eventually other livestock. Okay. And it has a great board of directors, a great C-suite, etc. So what I did is I want to basically get into that because I said that group of people will have good contacts. Okay. Boy, was it exciting. And I'll tell you about another meeting I've had in this area. One of the things I'm trying to build relationships is finance companies that looking to invest in businesses as part of our consulting firm. Okay. So let me get into what I did. And again, you can see quickly how this works. So let me go into my LinkedIn profile and tell me when it's basically live again. Can you see me on LinkedIn here? And you can see Herd Whistle. Okay. Now, Herd Whistle, Calgary-based opportunity, is going public. Okay. The stock in the CPC got halted pending a significant investment. And for the next little while, the company in Toronto on the stock exchange buys this company, the stock is halted. Okay. And it puts together and it's going to raise about 3.5 million. That's just a bit of the backstory. What I wanted to do is I wanted to connect with all of the people. Well, this Andrew Johnson's the chief financial officer, okay? But I want to go into Herd Whistle technology because Herd Whistle has a presence on LinkedIn. And because I'm a shareholder in the company, and I'm also wanting to help, educate people about this particular company. I want to go into where it says people. Now, these are all the people that work directly or indirectly with Herd Whistle, okay? And this is Jack, he's the CEO. This is Andrew, Braden. So over the past 24 hours, I started following him and they followed me back. Full disclosure, I'm an advisor now to the company as of yesterday, okay? And so I want to basically find out who's on the team. But I also had another, and this is the founder, Adam Moran. I sat on his board a number of years ago. So he's into this. So this is basically the company profile in here. It's got 553 followers. Now, they made this announcement 24 hours ago, and I want to go to Jack's site. And basically, it's loading up here. And can you see Jack here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So then what happened is Jack doesn't have a big connection. Now, this is interesting. So this is a side story. Jack's following me, but he only has 317 people that are connection. And if only 1% to 2% of the people basically post on LinkedIn, he's going to see a lot of George Mullen stuff, okay? Which you do typically in your feed. So people that have a presence on LinkedIn and have low connections are actually pretty good for you because you're going to dominate their feed with the stuff that you post if you're an active poster. Tip number one. Okay. Now, Jack is a really accomplished business person, had big exits. He's a trained veterinarian. He's a doctor, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm really interested. We have 18 mutual connections, but I don't want to really go there. I want to go in to see his posts. Here's why. This is where the real secret juice is. Jack says here, okay, Now, this is him announcing that he has taken on CEO, that his company, Alpha Informatics, has joined Herd Whistle Technologies. And he's now the chief operating officer of Herd Whistle as part of that amalgamation of these two Calgary-based companies. Okay, exciting times. Again, that's really cool. But this is where the juice is. Who's excited about that opportunity? Mm-hmm. So what I do is I go in and I start following all these people in the last 24 hours, and you can see they're all following me back. Okay. Now there's PhDs, there's tech guys, there's people high up, and there's basically, people within the company, but there's also people in here that run private equity funds or run consulting businesses, right? And this is a blue chip list of people, right? Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, Council of the Canadian Pork Council. He's a big deal. So let's go to Egan. And have I started following him? Yeah, you bet I have. He's a pending follow, okay, in terms of that strategy. So then I go in here and I start mining these data science special generals. So these are people that I'm interested in following, right?
George, I don't mean to jump in, but when you say follow, you mean connect.
I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Connect. Well, most people you can connect with, connect and follow.
If you connect, that automatically makes you follow. But if you follow them, it doesn't mean you connect with them.
Correct. And that's where it comes in here. And I think that's a good point, Bob. So right now, if you're basically, I want to go into here and see these people here. Most of these people are now following me or connecting with me, but there's an option, right, when you do that. So let's go into Andrew Johnson here. Let's go down to some of his posts, and he's the CFO of the company. Again, he's posted, and he basically has 0 posts. Okay, he's just starting, so he's going to see everything I post. I'll be the only person on his feed. Kind of a nice place to be in. So bottom line of it is that these people are all, again, I've followed, and I think Doug Webb I followed here. No, I haven't. So Doug Webb here, Quality Control, HSE Manager, Compliance Officer at Phoenix Technology Services. Okay, pretty good contact. And I can connect. Now, sometimes this says follow, and you go over to little buttons here, and you can go down this little pull down menu, and it says connect. You always want to connect. It's a much more strategy or much more valuable than following anybody. Most people are lazy or don't know, and they just click follow. Not as good as connecting. Connecting, you're getting a much deeper potential relationship with that individual. Okay. Now, how I can see how effective this strategy works is I go into my network. Okay. And this, I have 10,895. This grows every day now with this strategy. Now, what I do is I go into my pending invitation. I accept everybody, except that if they're a web development firm or a social media from Pakistan or India. Those guys spam you, and that's all they're interested in. I don't accept them. Personal preference, you can if you want, but that's not my focus. So I go into manage, okay? So manage my connections. Now, sent means I've sent out this to Doug Webb, right? And this is what I've sent out today. So I'm active in the morning already. Again, trying to keep this no more than about 15, all right? So you can see I've pretty much reached my limit for today. A good percentage of these people will follow me back, okay? Go back into my connections, okay? Now, this is the last person that followed me, Eva. She's from Geneva. These people came up. This person came on the boat yesterday. I followed him. Same with a lot of these people came from the boat. I tend to follow everybody from the boat. Okay. Now, that's where I can see, and if you count these people up, I counted this before the meeting here. I've had 17 people follow me back. Where it gets even more interesting is the interaction. So Jack, I look forward to what he's already. I talked to him a few minutes. I sent him out an invitation. I guess it was today, and he's already responded back. But you could see from my messaging, So I've already had a couple of conversations. This is what happened yesterday in terms of the activity on the right hand with an active engagement on LinkedIn. I'm going to scroll to the end of the end of August. You can see how many active conversations I've had on an hourly and daily basis, building relationships and having direct contact with these people in all forms of my business strategy by being active. What is the moral of the story? You don't have to do anything else other than LinkedIn if you want to build your business. And it's simple. This is just September's interaction with every one of these people. This is all interaction in real time. And the good part about it is that and then finally I've hit August, but this is all of my contacts that I've been having conversations with. And usually it starts very simple. Hi, thanks for connecting. Okay. And I congratulate people on the work anniversary. I've sent this person some information about going to the boat on September the 1st. They didn't show up. No big deal. I'll get them next month. Okay. So that is how active I've been in the last week since you and I chatted. And a lot of things have happened. What happened as well is I was promoting this stuff and setting up my brand. I got a private text from a lady by the name of Joy. Joy says, been following what you're doing on LinkedIn. The head of our fund wants to talk to you because you have deal flow from some of your clients. He'd like to buy you lunch. So they're from North Vancouver. I went over there, started at 12, got out of there at 3. They want to put me on as advisor, hire a firm, et cetera, all because of this. And that was an interesting meeting because that fits exactly what we're trying to do in terms of, building business. So I guess the moral of the story is you don't have to go anywhere else. Number one. Number two is you have to sort of develop a strategy in terms of what you want to do, right? And start being disciplined about going after it. It starts with, now I'm going to give you 2 really simple things. Focus on your clients. And you can see if you're focusing in the area that matches your brand, your social index score goes up and selling tells you you're doing the right thing and you're more likely to get contacts about what you're doing. And that's happening to me every friggin' day. Like I could fill people saying, hey, I'd like to have a meeting with you online, or I want to buy you coffee, I want to buy you lunch. And it's constant now. And so I have to basically triage what I want to be involved with, which is good. Second component is you want to basically follow those people and then say thank you. And really just simply doing that. 1 in 50 will thank you. So if you do it to everybody that comes into your profile, you're really going to stand out. Okay. And you can start an engaging conversation with people. So let's say, for example, your ideal strategy is Chris Sturgis says, okay, I want to talk to somebody that is in film finance. Focus on following people that finance films. Is it that simple? Yes. Don't pitch them on day one. Hi, I'm Chris. I need your money. Yeah, go ahead, Carol.
So how does Chris search for those people to find the right people on LinkedIn?
He goes to the search box and goes film financiers or financing in films, or he basically just plays with it until you find out what you want to do. It's amazing what will come up. Right.
On my free LinkedIn, that you can't search.
Well, they buy it, and then that's fine. But so if you want to have my success, pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Just a word about that. Back up 1 step and type the same thing plus LinkedIn into Google.
There you go.
Wow. Okay.
Thanks for that, Jacob. So my point's is it's easy to get to your contacts. And LinkedIn has 900 million people. You're probably not going to get it all in your lifetime or the next. Okay? So that's the process of what I did. So last week, again, consistent with what I said last week. I followed 10 to 15, and now the organic growth is coming in. More people are following me than I'm following back, and most people follow you back if you've targeted the right people, okay? And doing that. Interestingly enough, so many people do not have large followings. So the default position is until they get really active with lots of followers, your texting is going to be, or your posts are going to be very visible on their feed. So you're going to get front and center to them all the time. And I would say 99% of all people, and all I'm going to do is, you don't have to tell me, is how many people are following you on LinkedIn? And I rest my case. Okay. Some of you are pretty good, right? But most people are under 1,000. Millions and hundreds of millions are under 200 to 300. They've gone up there and they just put a picture up and they've stopped. And the reason they stopped is they don't know what to do with it. They don't have a strategy, right? And if you're young, this is the best marketing tip I could give you. If I got on LinkedIn when it came about initially, and I had what I know now, I would be in the hundreds of thousands of people following him on LinkedIn, and I would have built businesses around it. But the best time to dig the well for the water is today. Yeah, Tom, go ahead.
What about the velocity? Because it occurs to me like you are getting feedback quickly.
Yeah.
There's a lore or a story, or it occurred to me like it's slow.
What does that mean?
I do something and the system is slow to react.
Okay. Well, that's because it takes time to build velocity.
Okay.
Okay. You're not going to get it right away. You look at this as a long tail strategy. Okay? It will happen, and it will happen at an ever increasing velocity over time. You got to admit, I now have 11,000 people that follow me, right?
Oh yeah.
But I also have a strategy of engagement, and I believe that you can get velocity pretty quickly. All you need to do is go to your LinkedIn Messenger and see how many outbound messages you send, and that's your report card.
And just don't forget that George is active in posting. The algorithm is watching both of his hands. Yeah. The connecting hand and the posting hand. And you cannot get away with just one and expect any results.
Okay. It's true. And the thing is, I don't necessarily post so you have to balance the posting. Like right now, I use it a lot to drive traffic to the boat. And the reason why we're getting hundreds, how we got so many people on the boat was 100% LinkedIn. It was all LinkedIn that drove that traffic. Okay. So number one. Number two, and again, you could do the same thing for a digital platform. Sean's already proved it. If you take a look at what Sean's done, she's gone. No, she's still there. If you go to the LinkedIn events on the WRN site, she's got over 500 people that are registered for the event. That is 500 people that saw it, clicked on it, and coming. 250 will show up. Right? If you want 500, you have to have 1,000 saying they're going to come. If you want 250, 500 have got to say they're going to come. That's basically and it's different for every product and project. But it works. So we know that it drives traffic to our events, which is then putting them in the pipeline. Then you have to have a strategy of conversion, which we do, and monetization, which we do. But that took time to develop. It doesn't happen overnight. So in the last 24 hours, what I'll do is for our members here, I've got some really good tools for you. And what I'm going to do is I'm catering to the total beginner and to the advanced power user at the same time. So I'll tell you what I'll be posting this weekend for the members.
I'm going to drop off, George, and go and open the other room. But
okay.
And for those of you that are attending, I'll see you there shortly.
So in the last 24, in this past week, I found a really good, I think it's about 30 pages. it's a guide for sophisticated marketing on LinkedIn. It's for power users, right? This is where you've got a presentation, you're starting to develop a strategy, and then it really gets into the guts of it. So it's a big guide, and it'll be posted in the library. It's a PDF file you'll be able to download. For the ones at the other end of the spectrum that are just getting started, I've got a really good video that basically helps you get a start on LinkedIn, and it's basically called a beginner's guide video, and it's about 15 minutes long. It's really easy, but it gives you that process. Okay. If you want to basically see what I do on a day-to-day basis, just follow me on LinkedIn, check my posts. And then if you want to see how we engage the corporate side of WRN, make sure you see how we look at it. Now, we're shifting our strategy a little bit on the LinkedIn for WRN to more of a content versus a push on advertising. We've been too heavy on go to this event, buy a ticket. We want to shift away from that and give more valuable content. We think that will be better for the brand. And so so it's basically, these are just strategies that you keep tweaking and tweaking and tweaking, right? So basically that's it for today. And I'm going to I'm going to open up any questions you might have. And then I know a lot of you've got to jump off for the other event, which is fine. But anyway, that's the update. There'll be more next week in terms of strategies. And we're in the process of setting up. We think there's a really good synergy between the next university that we'll be doing this fall is AI University with a focus on Chat GPT and how you can use that AI in your business and how you can use AI in LinkedIn marketing. And Bob Skinner's heading that up, and you should see some of the stuff he's doing. It's amazing with AI tools that he's been able to discover. And what we're doing here for our members is we're curating data. Okay, we're basically looking at stuff. Okay, this makes sense. This is good. So not everybody gets busy. They just want the stuff. And so for our members, we're going to be posting up the stuff in terms of that. So that's where we're at. Any questions before we jump on? Anyway, yes, I've answered. Go ahead, Chris.
I'm just going to comment, George. The LinkedIn premium is pretty necessary if you dive into the your strategies, because you just don't have enough searches. But I'd love to see a little bit more discussion at some point about how the analytics work.
Yeah, I could totally do that. The analytics are great. And so I would recommend, do I recommend a paid version? Absolutely. Right. But you're going to be dropping $100 a month, right? Is it worth it? Totally. But the bottom line of it is I wouldn't pay for it until you have the beginning of a strategy. Okay. And spend a little time on strategy, then make the leap into that process. Yeah, Bob.
Comment is, as I'm doing my research on AI and systems, they all recommend Sales Navigator. So I was actually going to ask for Jacob's opinion on whether you want premium account or the Sales Navigator account, and what's the difference.
Which one are you going to use? Is the only question.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'm just,
what you're trying to do is ask
one over the other.
I'm a fan of Sales Navigator myself, but the thing that I deal with the most, which is why I've asked that question on behalf of everyone, is somebody on this call or watching this video will come back 3 months later after paying for it for 3 months and having done nothing.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think don't pay for something if you're not going to use it, right? But you have to have a pretty compelling reason to get on there. And I kind of kicking myself now. Now I'm going to obviously move towards a Sales Navigator strategy once I've got comfortable with this. Right now, it's just part of it is just the ability to consume new stuff, right? So as to Jacob's point is, whatever your bandwidth is for something, the key is consistency. as with anything else, it's consistency. If you can't be consistent, now I don't mean you have to follow 15 people every day, but 5 days a week probably should if you're interested in that, right? Now remember, you may not have your strategy and your engagement strategy, conversion strategy locked down yet, but don't worry about it. If you follow 10 to 12 people a day, when you do figure it out, your audience is going to be bigger, right? Don't wait until you have a strategy to start building up your following. And the other thing is, I would also go and take a look at what people that are your direct competitors or in your same space are doing and see what they're doing, right? Joe has this great idea. I mean, steal what you can and innovate where you must, right? Because rather than, beating yourself up and trying to figure it out on your own, what's working for some people, right? And find out what they're doing well in terms of that process. So, and I think it's a question of doing that. But as to Jacob's point, you're going to have buyer's remorse if you drop $100 or more. I don't know what Sales Navigator is a month, but if you're not using it, then you go, God, I'm not using it. It's a waste of time. And we all run out and have those subscriptions that we should cancel, but we never do, or we don't get around to it. And I think that that's basically, the first and foremost point. We have it. There's enough information out there to give you a baseline strategy, even if you struggle with technology. Okay.
My baseline for the decision making is, if you think about what George has taught, even in the last couple of weeks, you're going to start the subscription and commit 20 hours. And that's 20 hours of listening to the recording, whether it's just last week over and over and over, or each of these weeks, or the training that he's put inside of WRN. And while you're listening to it, you're tootling away on LinkedIn, making connections.
Yeah.
Like, that's leverage time. Do both, but buy the subscription, put in 20 hours, or don't, is how I look at it. Because it takes about that long to learn something.
Yeah, that's a good point. And the thing about it too is I probably dedicate, now I'm a power user because I want to nail this. And part of it is sort of strategy with WRAN. If we get the ultimate LinkedIn training university for solo entrepreneurs and small business owners, it's a really big value added benefit, because this hour of training here, plus the guides I'm putting up every week, at some point it gets so compelling that you go, well, if you join WRAN, you crush it on LinkedIn and drive thousands of dollars a month into your business. That's the insane value proposition that we're working towards. That's my goal, right? And the only way to do it is become an expert at it and make sure that you can show that you're successful deploying the asset or the strategy that we're telling you. And, we're landing big contracts, right? And I can't tell you that it's all because of LinkedIn. It just is. And then the thing about it is that, okay, so that's good for you, George, but what about me? Well, that's the imposter syndrome kicking in. Everybody can do this if they put their minds to it. But remember, I've been down this path a long, long time. I'm building on a bunch of success and successful brand, but anybody can do it today, particularly if you're young. Oh my God, I'd trade everything I got if I was Caroline's age. So, but I'm not, and so the idea being is that it's the greatest gift we've been given as an individual business person, right? If you want success, you have to basically prepare to put in the time for it, and right now I haven't found it, and I've got a degree in finance, degree in marketing. I've got 40 years of successful track record. And I can say without a doubt, LinkedIn crushes it. There's nothing that can close. And if you only have 10 hours a week, see you later, Chris. Put it all into LinkedIn. And if you want to try the other stuff, fill your boots. But I personally think if you've got a business related product, there are consumable products, and some markets where the other platforms are going to be useful for sure. But in my business, I'm not even wasting any time in those areas. It's just so much to do through the LinkedIn process. So if that's not a compelling enough testimonial, I don't know what is. And LinkedIn, remember this, LinkedIn says they want 3 billion people on the platform over the next 5 years. That they still, so they've got to add another 2 billion because they're close to 1 billion right now. So here's what's interesting. Do you want to be the last person to get on LinkedIn, or do you want to be there with a great profile and welcome 2 billion people that can find you? I prefer the latter, right? So that's kind of the process in the thing. But anyway, Sean's got a very successful event coming on. I will be here same time, same place next week with the George Moen LinkedIn show. And in the meantime, I hope you have a great week. Yes, Skip, I'll hang around here for a few minutes for those who want to. Yeah, go ahead. You're on mute, Skip. Skip, you're on mute. Although it's just fun watching you speak without hearing you. So,
well, I'm holding a lip reading course that starts in 15 minutes. There's no problem there whatsoever.
Perfect.
And you can have chapter 12 in my unmuted book.
There you go. What's up?
So my quick question is, how do I know, or where will I find the university? Because I'm looking on the main site and I don't see
it's
it
in
anywhere.
Mighty Network. Okay. And what I can do is I can send you another invite. I'm pretty sure you've been invited as a premium member, but I can go in here right now. Hold on for a sec.
Just resend it if that would be great, and I'll make sure I take care of it.
Well, first of all, we want to make sure that if you're in, well, let's find out if you're in here yet.
It's on Mighty Networks. Okay. Well, I'm on Mighty Networks right now.
Yeah. No, you're not in there. And I'm thinking you might have been sent. So I'll find out whether you've been sent an invitation.
Okay.
All right.
That would have been in WhatsApp?
No, it'll come through your email. So what we'll do is I'll send you a reminder invitation. I'm pretty sure you've been sent an invitation, but I'll basically go in. Hold on here.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. I'll send you an invitation. Okay.
Perfect. Many thanks. Perfect.
All right.
And the other question I had is that is there a way to get a record? I know there is, but about the people from Focus showing up on Wednesday?
There wasn't one.
One, eh? Oh, well, that's kind of weird. Okay, thank you.
Well, we'll keep going, but hold on here. Let's Bob Milliken. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to send you an invite, okay?
Yep, perfect.
All right, man.
Thank you so much. And I will get in there this time for sure. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. All right.
Where did you send it? I'm not getting it.
I just sent. Check your email.
Yeah, I will. All right.
It just went out again, so it should be there now. Okay.
All right. I'll find it. No problem.
Yeah,
Perfect.
no problem. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, Tom, I can't hear you.
Question.
I can hear you now.
Or can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. The link that you shared to the there's four.
There's four things. You're talking about the social selling index, your score?
Yes.
What do you want?
Yes. What behave? Oh, I'm low on this one.
You're really breaking up, Tom. Sorry, man.
No problem.
Send me a text. I can probably get if that works for you.
Yeah, that's fine.
I know it's around social selling index, but if you have a question specifically around that, you can actually go into the university and post your questions. I'll see them as well. All right. Any follow-up? And some of you are probably heading over to see Sean and that whole mastered networking thing. So I'm going to be bouncing, but thanks very much for everybody who's coming in here, and we'll